who's going to be there in those tough times for you that you can lean on? You have a shoulder to lean on.
Welcome to the Growth Concept Podcast. I'm your host, Keone Upton, where my mission is to empower growth through real conversations.
Increasing rates of loneliness and isolation. We're social creatures as well. Sure, we're products of environment, but we've been, grown up in villages.
I'm joined by Obie, aka Tom O'Brien, a passionate, ambitious individual who has structured his life over the 9 dimensions of wealth.
Being surrounded by people that you love, such a valuable dimension to have.
We break down these dimensions in an easy, practical way so you can apply them to your own life to live a more fulfilling life on your own terms.
How can your environment serve you?
I truly enjoyed this conversation with Obie. It was more of a relaxed podcast, friendly, mate-to-mate conversation. However, it was recorded outside in a beautiful park, so that means there is the occasional plane flying over and bird chirping. With that aside, that's enough from me. Let's get into it. Enjoy this episode. Welcome to Sunday morning at 8 a.m. with Keone and Obie.
How good is this? This is bloody beautiful. Thank you for inviting me down to this beautiful park. I actually haven't been here before.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, right. Wow, such a beautiful day for it.
Day for
it. Welcome to Australia. Obie, your work on social media is very interesting to me, and what's interesting about it is the authenticity that comes through in your content and in your blogs and in your posts even, especially in the 75 Hard, which we'll get to in this episode.
Sure.
I want to know, deep down, what is it you do and why do you do it?
Yeah, no, great question. And I just want to touch on the aspect of, the authenticity bringing into it. I feel like what's conveyed in, my content, whatever, I'm trying to be authentic as possible. Yeah. And I still think that's not my true expression. I don't think anyone's content is their true expression. Some do it a lot more, Casey Neistat, for example, guys that have been in the making content for years and have just mastered it. And then we can do that, then we can put an audience that will know you and feel like they know you in aspect, and that's something that I'm still continuing to build on. But a side aspect of why I do it, and I've always been very interested in my own health and well-being ever since I was a kid. Mainly revolving around the sport aspect. I was super passionate about footy, being AFL and Aussie rules, and just knew that what it took for me to fulfill my potential and be my best required to be physically fit, eat really well, and have the discipline to train and continue training. I wasn't the most talented player. I didn't have the talent, but I worked fucking hard, and I managed to get the results from it. And I think a lot of those things carried through into the rest of my life, whether it was school and work and things like that. And as I've gotten older, a lot of those traits have just continued to elevate and grow into other dimensions. So,
you've worded that really well. And with you valuing health and your fitness and stuff, when did you start valuing this? Because I know on the timeline of looking around in society, people seem to value all sorts of different things, but why is health and fitness one of your values?
Well, I mean, on the back of that, since the sporting aspect, and I think Dad got me into my health and fitness from a pretty early age, and I'm glad that I continued it and was really fascinated by it, and surrounded myself by it as a young person. I'm not sure if it's becoming harder for the younger generation to notice that and develop things like discipline and motivation to go out and do that. I think there are still plenty of kids that do that for sure, but there's other outside influences that are definitely inhibiting that. So that's a challenge that generations now are finding hard. But I find that I kind of miss that. And sure, it's not I didn't still have the typical kind of youth grow up and didn't try things and experiment. I wasn't the purest athlete by any means, whatever, I'd be playing AFL if I whatever. But no, I wouldn't play AFL, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I think it is so valued, and specifically for me, something that I'm really passionate about, because I think it's just the foundation you can build for that leads to just fulfillment and satisfaction in so many other areas of your life. Because I mean, if you're feeling like a piece of shit every day, it's pretty hard to get up and show up as like your authentic self every day. If like you can't move, you're feeling stiff, and you're overweight, and you're eating bad stuff that is also influencing like your mood and everything like that. So it's all super interconnected. And just to finish up this answer, I think like why is it not like, obviously it's important for me, but it's like you look at the trending niche of not just health and wellness, but it's involving things like longevity is a major buzzword in the health and wellness now. Like not just like for people now, but like doing the things that are necessary now. So when you're 60, 70, 80, you're not like
crippled.
Yeah, not crippled and someone else is wiping your ass and shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just doing that stuff and injury prevention, da da da. But yeah.
Yeah, with the media and stuff, obviously there's so many influencers out there with fitness industry alone. Do you think that is having a positive effect on the youth in this day and age? Or do you think it's slightly, I want to say, tampering their decisions and they're doing it for the wrong reason?
Yeah, bro. Like, it's a great question. And the answer is like, there are some good influences out there. There are. But unfortunately, they're not the engaging ones,
What do you mean by that?
Well, the ones that maybe aren't necessarily as great for your health or maybe are spreading misinformation are the ones that get that next level of engagement for some reason. They're doing something right to get the, in forms of the content, and the ones that, are like, I don't know. It's a bit of like one or the other, but most of the time there is a lot of misinformation spread by like maybe people that aren't qualified, people that are gurus and shit like that. Just like it's like, where do you get the information, bro? Like, and it's hard to tell because you've got things like ChatGPT these days, and they just search up the answers like cool, read it out on a piece of paper and a screen. Like, there I go. Like, it's hard. And I think like the ones that that do shine through. There are a couple really good core ones. That I know there probably are plenty of others that are doing a really solid thing and are spreading a really good message, and hopefully I can be part of that as well.
Do you feel that particular things in the media or in society needs to start changing to better educate the younger people in society now, you reckon? Like, what key things, like looking at society as a whole, what key things do you think we have to change to start promoting I want to say different side of health and well-being? Because I know it's very, how would you describe it now? If you had one word to describe the fitness and health and well-being industry, what would be one word?
I think it's like tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision.
I know it's 2 words, but
we can make it one today.
Yeah. I think it's very like, you have that form of content, and then like you don't want to look left, you don't want to look right, like because what's what they're engaged in, that's somehow connected with them on a conscious, subconscious level. They're going to follow that, right? But there are a lot of other things, that I wish the youth in particular, like I've done a lot of work like with youth and school workshops with Happiness Co, and that's more surrounding like the mental health, preventive mental health side of things in terms of that, and getting awareness and taking action towards those kind of things. And I think in regards to whether it be health and wellness or other like topics for that matter, I think it is really important to like have, instead of like being tunnel vision, to have your head in a swivel and just be really curious onto like what other aspect, like understanding why I believe the things that I do, and like really like we grew up being in like really curious beings as a kid. Like, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this?
Yeah.
What's stopping us from doing that now? And I feel like a lot of the youth is just getting like seeing the first thing that they see and going with it.
And with your 9 dimensions of wealth, this is something I think needs to be written down eventually with Obie, the author of the 9 dimensions of wealth.
I'm working on something, maybe. Dropping soon.
Maybe.
Go here first, folks.
Obie, the 9 dimensions of wealth. Let's break each one down and how they have come into your life and what role they apply to other people's lives that also want to implement these 9 dimensions of wealth. Let's break it down. What's the first dimension, bro?
For sure. Physical. Should we just go through them?
Yes.
Go one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Physical, as mentioned before, like where my foundation has been and continues to go. I've always used that as my foundation, like my strong foundation to come back to in times like maybe when I'm struggling, like I'm just going to go for as simple as a walk, like get outside and like that, the like cognitive benefits that it has on just getting outside and, like on a beautiful morning like this, like sunny, it's great, but I'll go out when it's raining and wet and to the beach and shit, like go for a swim.
I think that's such a good point because I'm sure you're aware of the push-up challenge.
Yeah, so you've done that. I've done that before, yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's like day 2 was 120 push-ups for 120 minutes a week. Like the impact that will have on your mental health is so drastic.
Yeah, because it gives you some of the statistics each day, doesn't it?
And it's been like, doing it is cool, but actually getting these like facts and stats too is like, damn. Like,
yeah.
I did not realize that number isn't even high.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing. It's like such a small impact. Everyone has 120 minutes a week.
Yeah.
You spend
100%.
triple that on your phone each day.
Yeah, definitely.
So that physical aspect, I think, as you were saying, going outside, going for a walk, whether it's rainy or hailing, it's such a good way to structure the foundations of the 9 dimensions.
For sure, man. And like whether, like people have certain goals or want a like specific physique because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
I think like getting in tune with that and seeing like what you want to do with your own body. Because I mean, in studying, whether it was back in high school and even now, like the human body is a magnificent vehicle. Like it's fucking crazy, like what it's capable of doing and how the different way you train can it can evolve and adapt. And I feel like the more you can like take care of it and, just whether it is going for a walk, whether it's going for a run and testing it in a lot of different ways, if you don't use it, you lose it, like kind of thing. I don't want to lose the ability to move and feel good and feel young. I mean, I feel like a piece of shit at the moment. I played footy yesterday, but oh my God.
We don't need to talk about that.
But that's what we train. Yeah, footy's a pretty rogue sport as it is. But that's why just the ability for it to bounce back and become more resilient. That just really fascinates me. In that physical aspect, like how you can keep on training the body in a specific way to how you want to. So I think that's a really cool aspect in terms of a foundation for me to lead on to a lot of the other dimensions, particularly like when it comes to like emotional as well. Just like they're quite closely related.
With the 9 dimensions, what would you call it? 9 dimensions of wealth, right? That's obviously what it's called, but wealth as in to live a more fulfilling life or wealth to be more happy? Like, what does that word mean?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, before we go into the other dimensions, like what to preface, like what this really means and where it has come from. In my studies of health promotion, studying that at Notre Dame, specializing in media and communications. Look at me. I went to university. Anyway, I've come, in my time working, studying and working at Happiness Co as well, and I've just been in the industry, I have come to see that there's been the 14 or 15 principles of health and wellness and things like that. And, I thought that was quite a lot. Look, 9's still a couple as well. I wouldn't say it's a small amount, but trying to narrow that down to a good number, I found the 9 specifically. And why wealth is because you can have an abundance of wealth in short, not just finances, but an abundance of wealth in your physical and endurance and qualities and traits. I can be emotionally wealthy as well. I can be happy and satisfied and and still being in tune with my negative emotions, disempowering emotions and really feeling them. I think it's a privilege to be able to feel an array of emotions. I'm in Australia, we've got a pretty wealthy environment, bro. Especially here in the southwest and in Perth and where I'm from, down south, but south of Bunbury ways, it's beautiful down there. I feel when I'm just camping, I'm I'm got everything I need right now. I'm wealthy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it even pops up to my mind. It's just Bob Marley.
Yeah.
I seen an interview with him one time, and he was just, and interviewer asked him like, "Are you wealthy? And have you got lots of money?" Because that was the only the one and he goes, "What do you mean? What do you mean lots of money? Like, what do you mean wealth?" And he's just like, he said, I just got, Bob Marley pretty much just goes on to say, I got everything I need, like right here, I got my friends, my family, like, you know what I mean? So, the simpler, like, kind of like you can be grateful and, for the things that you have, I think maybe the ceiling isn't so high in terms of like what you can claim as your wealth, but that's kind of in a nutshell, like where that kind of goes.
Yeah, because I know as we were talking about the media and influence in the media earlier, and wealth is that buzzword, same with like rich. Like,
sure.
I'm rich or I'm wealthy. And I think the definition of wealth has been lost, but I think...
Well, there's a difference between rich and wealth.
Yeah. Rich is like that, more of that financial gain.
External, like, oh, look at me. I've got X amount of dollars in my bank account. Like, cool. Like, good on you. But wealth is like, you know, the value that, the true value that you have of the things that you do have. Right?
Yeah, such a good point. The 9 dimensions of wealth, and now we know what wealth is.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about physical, which is staying active, going for that walk, whether it's rainy, sunny, and that will... Is that the pillar to the rest of the 8 dimensions?
My personal one.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's going to be different for everyone according to their strengths and where they spend, you know, more time in... We're naturally going to spend a different amount of time in different dimensions according to unique different traits and everything. And just for me, like, and where I've come from with my background, I spend a lot of time in my physical and know that like leads into other dimensions. And going to the second one being like, you know, emotional, like sometimes even like recently before we started the potty, like I expressed to you, like I was going through quite a transition change of environment at the moment. And that has had quite a profound, you know, effect on my emotions and everything. Like, you know, change is good and it's bad. I'm feeling it in a way, and like knowing this, like acknowledging it, accepting it, being aware of it, not trying to suppress it, kind of thing. And and just like for the aspect of even the last couple of days, I've just been walking in the mornings and playing football yesterday, and just the effects of you know, the physical on the mental and emotional, like, has been awesome. And, you know, like just being, but like when I guess emotions as a whole, like I think it's great to just feel a different array of emotions, and knowing that it's like you gotta enjoy the highs and knowing that like it's not gonna last forever, but how you're gonna handle the lows. So being aware of that and like, and noticing it, like being aware, like how am I really feeling, you know, like today, and you know, what can I do about it? Not being proactive as opposed to reactive, you know?
Right. Okay. So emotional. So physical, yes, staying active, and that has helped you kind of see more clearly through all the cloud and mayhem going on in your life. So staying physically fit, whether it's just the walk, has helped your emotional state drastically through these times.
In a matter of like 5 minutes. Yeah, like...
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So emotional is asking yourself those hard... Well, I wouldn't even say... like, yeah, asking yourself these hard questions on how are you truly feeling. What do you do based on that answer you've asked yourself?
So when I ask myself that question, I just like answer it as truthfully as possible. Like, you know, like, am I... like, because I feel a lot of people, like, there's that kind of notion of false optimism. Like people like, you know, if you want something, go get it, like just be optimistic. He's like, yeah, but I'm not gonna be like, that's how like I'll show up as that attitude at times, but I'm not always gonna be like the most upbeat person. And so knowing that, acknowledging it, and like, okay, what can I do to kind of accept that and change and move on. And that could be just like having a conversation with yourself, having a conversation with a mate, family member, writing, journaling, things like that, and just like breaking it down and seeing like where you're at with it and seeing where it's coming from, being curious about it, and whether it's things like meditation, like actually sitting with it. I love meditation. I think even still now, like in the amount of years that like people have been, you know, represent, like even saying how much meditation is varied and like how it can have a profound effect on people, it's still seen as like a woohoo thing. And it's like, no, like I think why I think that is because people are scared to sit with themselves. You get people that have like someone that hasn't meditated before, they would struggle to sit in a room for themselves for 2 minutes because they're let alone with their own thoughts. And the way I see it is it's like weeding. It's like you have a garden in your brain, right? The more you can sit with yourself and answer these questions with yourself, you're slowly picking away at the weeds. And then, no, you know what, you do that, the more you're going to get clarity. And if you don't suppress them, and if, and you continue to ask yourself these questions, get clear, like I mentioned, you're going to be left with a beautiful garden at some point towards the end. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of work on yourself, but you'll be so, proud of yourself by that point when you can take a step back and be like, oh, I feel great and my garden's flourishing and I can go out and be my best version of myself.
I love that analogy. It's such a creative way of seeing your brain.
Yeah.
And a bit ironic that we're in a beautiful park here as well. So physical, emotional.
Yeah.
Third one.
Let's go environmental.
Environmental.
Yeah, because, we've spoken about this before and outside of the podcast in terms of how important that I do find my environment. And it's quite an interesting time as my environment is changing. And I felt like when I was, say, for example, taking my posters down in my room, like I'm taking my my room's personality and like, my personality away and it, like walking around the house, it feels really empty. And yeah, that's had a little bit of an effect on me, but it's just like, cause that's where, I've spent the last 2.5 years, nearly 3 years of my life, which have really served me in a super positive way. It's just cause, it was home, and it was really comfortable and it allowed me to be the best version of myself and it served me in the right way. So it's like, how can your environment serve you? Because, and you can serve your environment because we are products of our environment. Obviously not just our home environment, but who you surround yourself with as well.
Yeah.
So knowing that if you surround yourself in an environment with 5 drop kicks, you're going to become the 6th. Whereas surround yourself in an environment of, 6 people that are aligned with the things that you're aligned with and, they're killing it and their parts of life, you're going to be like that as well. You're going to develop the drive and the motivation, the discipline like they are to go the things that you want to do as well.
How did you find your people? Or let's even break it down further than that. We're in Perth. Perth is such a small world, as we know.
Yeah.
Communities for growth in Perth.
Yep.
How do we go about that?
So I think Perth at the moment is a really great place to be in terms of community. And you whether it's not just been the influx of run clubs in the last couple of years, I think that's a bit extreme. But I'm a regular goer to Cold Nips, I love Cold Nips and love Gian and the crew, and I've been lucky enough to work on certain aspects of them, whether it's been the tour and be part of the leadership team there. And I think that's been a super positive aspect. It's a great community that is allowing people to rock up as their true, authentic selves and connect with other people that are quite similar in that aspect of wanting to get up early, wanting to get outside of their comfort zone, go for a swim when it might be a little bit colder now in the winter.
Yeah.
And yeah, just wanting to surround yourself with people that are doing that. And I've had some really beautiful conversations in the last couple of weeks with people that have just wanted to come down and people that have brought their friends. And so that's been a great aspect of the communities, of one of the communities that I've been in, I've been able to meet new people and kind of grow my network. And I think in the last couple of years, since I have been up in Perth, gone to uni, worked in hospitality. Hospitality is a great way of meeting new people and community itself. I think a lot of young people should definitely go out and do that. I worked at Gage Roads for 2 years, and you look at the people that do work there, they're young, want to have fun, and I think that's a great environment for a young person to put themselves in. And you like your family environment as well. I think bringing them into community as well. I wanted to bring my sister down to Cold Nips and a couple of those aspects, but I'll come back to why Perth is so good, and there's all these different aspects of community. You pick what you look at, what you're passionate about. there'll be a community for it. You go down there and you better see people that are passionate for it as well. And you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, 100%. Such a good way of positioning yourself for an environment for you to become the better version of yourself, because Perth has that, which is so cool.
Yeah, I just want to add something to that really quick. I had a really good chat with a mate down in Bunbury last week, and he was telling me the way that I'm interacting with my mates since I've known since like high school, and you know they've graduated now, and since being out of high school, my relationships are changing, and I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not. And like, I really resonated with him, because I feel like as you like leave school, there's, you know, I'll change, you'll change, my friends will change, and I've been in that position as well where I tried to hang on to those relationships.
Yeah,
and it didn't serve me in the right ways, because you know I wanted to go out camping and surfing and try all these, you know, different things, whereas, you know, those things didn't interest them anymore. And I kept on trying to knock at the door and like, come on, like invite them. And I was being the one to make conversation. And Finn, in this example, was the exact same, like trying to be the one to initiate and hang on to those relationships. So like, bro, the advice I gave him is like, if you are the one that are trying, like, good on you. They will always be there. They're your brothers. You've known them for a long time. But for your own sanity, for your own like well-being, go out and find the people that you're aligned with and that you can have fun with, and you can ultimately surround yourself and be like your true authentic self with. Because he was even expressing like, oh, I'd be just going for a surf, and some of his mates they'd known for a long time be like, oh, you're just the hippie surfer, bro. I'm like, nah, that you need to surround yourself with some better people.
It's such a... I'm so glad you brought that up, because, yeah, even myself, I'm sure you can relate with school. I would say your school friends are those convenient friends. Obviously, you're...
The default,
because you're in that close environment and you obviously don't want to be by yourself at lunch and recess.
Yeah, true.
You kind of, somewhat hold on to that, and I'm kind of in a similar boat where it's like, do you hold on to your school friends, try and really water that... Going back to the garden example, but the plant, think of them as a plant, like watering the plant, but the plant's just dying anyway. It's like, how long are you going to hold on until you have to let go?
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Go to Bunnings, get a new plant.
It's like whipping a dead horse. You know? Well, that's the example that I've heard before, but same thing with like watering a dead plant. That's probably the more tame example.
So environmental, my understanding of the way you've explained environmental is, yes, it's the external influence. For example, this park, this is going to have a positive effect on my mental health. Yeah, it's such a good way of doing a podcast. I have to say it's risky for like audio. Environment factor, external environments affect you, internal environments affect you with top 5 people you spend your time with, you become, which is such a cliche point. It's said a lot in self-development, but... It
is, bro, but it's so true.
Yeah. Don't forget it. That's something I've...
It's cliche because it's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, now fourth point out of the 9 dimensions.
Let's go nutritional. I know that you want to talk a lot about this. And because I think... I'll relate this back to physical as well. When you are, you know, training your body in a way, whether like even just from simple as walking... Maybe like you're training for something, you're running lots, you're gymming lots. Naturally, if you want to get like the best out of yourself, you're going to be eating like pretty good as well.
Yeah.
If you want to be, you know, optimizing what you are doing and putting your body through, you after a workout, you're wanting to be replenished it with carbohydrates, protein, and fats, like and replacing electrolyte stores, everything like that. You know, doing what's essential to, you know, fuel your body like you would a car. Like if you had like a beautiful Ferrari, a Lamborghini or everything, like are you gonna put like
91?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Diesel.
Yeah, like
should be right.
Yeah, fuck that. Like no way. So the same for the human body, man. And the way you can, you know, fuel yourself with a well balanced array of meals throughout the day. Look, I'm not saying that I eat the cleanest all the time. I love chocolate. I love, you know, cheap foods and all of that. And it feels good and great. So like, it's not saying don't eat bad junk food because, you know, it tastes great. Like, and treat yourself. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But for the majority, that's like an 80-20 rule. Like, you know what I mean? Like 80% of the time, like eat they're good whole foods. They're going to be like good for yourself, good for your energy levels, good for your recovery. And, you know, knowing that like treating like your, you know, like your gut biome as well, like eating things like I love kimchi, for example, and sauerkraut, like these fermented foods that are great for your gut biome. And like the bacteria that like ultimately work really closely with your brain as well. And so knowing that like if your gut biome's firing at like the best possible way that it can for yourself, you're going to be producing a lot more serotonin. 95% of your serotonin comes from your gut, actually, which is like, you know, serotonin is that like happiness kind of neurotransmitter. And so like it's, just knowing that is like, oh, cool. I want to give my, you know, body the best fuel it can.
Such a undervalued or underspoken thing as well. It's ironic. You fuel your body, you feel good, but like breaking it down, the science of like gut health and how that relates to having poor gut health, more anxiety, depression, like, and how that is related to the gut. And then that's related to the brain. It's just so funny how it all works, eh?
Oh man, and it's especially like in a lot of the food that like is being promoted these days. And, you know, I wouldn't even necessarily like protein powder and, you know, all these supplements are great. You got to like be really picky with which supplements that you are using. I'm not a fan of protein powder. I used to take it until I found out like there's a lot of like heavy metals in it and
no shit.
Yeah, and like a lot of it, like I would strongly suggest if you are buying like processed foods, have a look at the ingredients list. Research them, a couple of them if you want to, because look, there's a lot of them like we can't even pronounce. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Like you look at the same ingredients that are in a banana, I'm sure you couldn't say all those ingredients like because they're all very scientific. But there are a lot of, you know, additives, things that are natural, like, you know, that we're putting into our bodies that take a lot more to process, and, you know, essentially like are going into our muscles and into our brain, and has those pretty gnarly effects sometimes.
Nutrition, the way you've described that to me is you got to fuel your body for that optimal performance. Think of your body as a Ferrari. You got to fuel yourself properly, and obviously that relates to your physical and emotional health so much as well, because you got to fuel yourself with the right shit.
Yeah,
like 100%, man.
Yeah.
Fifth, 9 dimension.
Let's go intellectual.
What is intellectual?
So it's like just your inherent ability to learn new things, and like with your brain as well. Like, you know, as a young person, your brain is really, or even throughout your life as well, very like neuroplastic. So continue to learn new things, and like just like I think being curious is a superpower as well, and just being able to just like you know, understand like why things are the way that they are, and, you know, putting your brain in different situations, you know, like that's why an aspect of why I wanted to do some of the challenges, and why I think that had such a great effect, because my brain's put in a position where I'm not only like haven't done this for the first time, but, you know, like I have to think on the go, and I have to, like, you know, it's not comfortable. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and I have to see how I respond.
Fighting those internal belief systems. Like, for example, one challenge you did in 75 hard, you wore, you know, those budgies. Yeah. And you just ran in them. Through Bunbury.
Yeah.
You were in shops wearing budgies. Like, if I saw that, I'm like...
Did footy training in budgies. Yeah.
Like those little, this is embarrassing. What are people going to think? Like,
yeah.
Does that kind of go into the intellectual side?
A little bit, because ultimately, like, you're putting your brain in a situation where it's like nervous, or maybe a little bit nervous and outside your comfort zone, and you haven't done this before. Like any place where like your brain is placed in that position where like you're using new parts of your brain. Yeah, I think that, you know, relates back to your intellectual. But typically, like whether you're reading a book, whether you're learning an instrument, they're all like really ways that you can continue to test your brain's capacity to remember and learn and understand things. And so, like, I mean, I love playing guitar. It's probably something that I haven't been doing enough of recently, and I'll definitely get back into it. Like, I'll play. Lockie and I already agreed that we're playing today in our empty house, because it sounds great.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah, I've read a lot of books recently, and so like continuing to learn new things and grow intellectually, I think is like lifelong learning is a super valuable aspect or principle.
Such a good point. So intellectual is that adaptation of different ideas, ideologies, and thoughts, and learning quickly, like really training your brain to learn faster.
Not even faster. Like slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Like a lot of these things are processes going to take a long time. Like I've been playing guitar for 3-4 years, not straight. I wouldn't say I'm great by any means, but like I enjoy it, and so like I think a lot of the times, recently even now, like there's this notion of go out and do something and do it as fast and efficient as possible. It's like, well, there's sometimes a lot more value in taking things slow and failing and learning from your mistakes and being patient with it as well. Like, I mean, I think, say, even rushing through a book, like
you're not soaking it in.
No, you're not soaking it in whatsoever. So taking your time with it, enjoying it, let it, like you come to it.
How did you come to conclusions that was part of your 9 dimensions?
Yeah. Sorry. What? I've always been like a very curiosity and very like being open minded and like lifelong learning. So I think that's just like an important aspect in anyone's life to continue learning, like and not being complacent, because you can say we've gone to uni, you get a job, and then a lot of the time, like, you know, people just will sit in that job and remain complacent and comfortable because that's what they know.
Yeah.
Whereas like get outside, go traveling, go test yourself in like in different cultures and things like that to make like entertain your brain in a lot of different ways, and it like so that you can get some excitement, like and like your brain will just be like, whoa, like I mean, this is crazy, like, you know. So I think that's kind of like where I come to it, and whether it has been traveling, whether it's been camping, and I think things like that, or like even just learning myself, I think that's where that's come from.
Well said. 5 dimensions so far: physical, emotional, environmental, nutrition, and intellectual. What's number 6? Wait, I'm gonna guess number 6.
Okay, you pick. If you know them.
Let's do financial. Is that number 6?
I was actually thought you were gonna say restful, but let's do financial for sure. Yeah.
So number 6, financial. Oh, yep, sweet,
cool. So where that kind of comes from, obviously, like the opportunities that are available for us to do, like nothing, maybe not nothing. Like a lot of things in this life that we do want to do, unfortunately, they're not always free. And I'm not saying that money can ultimately buy happiness, but you know, whether it's the work that we do, that like, whether we enjoy it or whether we don't at the moment, whether we're just trying to get some money to set us up in the future, that's that is one aspect of it. But you know, having that financial like stability, whether it's like people are chasing financial freedom, that's a big buzzword at the moment as well. And if people can get to that position, like good on them. I mean, sometimes getting financially free isn't as like vast and extreme as what people might think. If you're just someone backpacking and you're getting a couple $100 a week, you're technically financially free because your costs are low. So there's a lot of that aspect, and but eventually, like, you know, in the long term, say if you are wanting to buy a house and provide for a family, like that's where the long term kind of financial dimension comes in, and really like having the kind of safety net beneath you to be able to, you know, spend some money on things that you want to use as a that you're passionate about, whether it is hobbies and things like that. Because if you want some good equipment to go for a bike ride, you know, like that is an important aspect of like a dimension in itself, because we do want nice things, right? And you know, that can come back into some of the other dimensions as well, of whether it be a house or whether it be equipment to, you know, physically train and things like that, and you know, even being able to buy good ingredients for the food that we eat, because you know what I mean. Like it's not. I don't know. We talk about, you know, eating healthy and whole foods and everything, and sometimes that isn't the most cost like.
It's expensive.
It is. It can be expensive depending where you shop, but it is an important aspect to be aware of, and knowing that if like there is value in buying good ingredients to cook with, and because it's investing in your body, and you know, investment is like, I hadn't even thought, I'll just take it in that direction. Like investments are a big part of that, and just because like sure, you're earning money, but like what's it doing there sitting in your bank account and kind of thing. So whether it is you want to put it in different funds like Raise or Spaceship, where like the ETFs, or like things like crypto and things like it's a pretty, like I spend a little bit of time in financial dimension, like in the crypto space. At the moment it's a roller coaster, but yeah, no, it's fun. So
yeah,
just trying to dabble in a couple of different things.
Financial. What's 7? Restful?
Let's go restful.
Restful.
Yeah.
Number 7.
So this is it's actually like a bit of a dark horse, like an underdog. I think because, you know, you get a lot of people thinking like, oh, I'll rest when I'm dead, you know, like, and what, like people actually really don't know the value that is in sleep and resting and recovery. Whether it's the Western world and being like, go, hustle mindset and things like that. It's like, nah, I know like where my limits lie, and I need to take a rest right now to kind of reset my brain, charge my social battery. My muscles need to recover. Also, like whether I want to go to the beach, and whether I want to go to ice bath, sauna, and you know, those things are all great. But if I'm not getting 8-9 hours sleep, and you know, like that is, I like those numbers are great for me.
Yeah.
And of deep sleep, there's different stages of sleep: stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and REM sleep. You want to be spending, and they go in 90-minute cycles. And so, like, you probably go through 5 cycles in an 8 or 9 hour night.
Right.
And it's the more cycles you can get through, especially stage 3 and 4, where it's that real deep sleep, which where your muscles are recovering, your hormones are, and your brain are kind of regulating. Like, you'll wake up tomorrow feeling fresh and ready to go for whatever's adventure is the next day.
Yeah.
So, sleep is way more important than any kind of recovery or supplement and protein and fuel. That is, you know, those are great. Those are essentials, right?
Yeah.
We need them. But sleep is going to take the chocolates for that one for sure.
Yeah, it's the foundation, would you call it?
Yeah, just in terms of rest and recovery for sure.
Rest and recovery.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big nap fan as well. I haven't been napping too much lately, but just because I've been busy. But napping like a little 20-30 minute nap. You know, like people can call like a 40 or an hour like minute nap. It's like, no, that's a micro sleep.
Micro sleep, yeah.
Yeah.
So restful's more of the focusing on your sleep and mainly sleep, or is it?
Well.
And naps?
Yeah, well, I think, that's definitely a core aspect of it. But, like, you know, there is aspect in rest in terms of, you know, like, we can't always be putting ourselves under physical stress. You do need to rest and let your body recover. And, you know, sleep's an aspect of it. They're just, like, maybe having a rest day, maybe not training. And, you know, like, we spend a lot of our lives being go, like, super busy and working. But, you know, sometimes, like, we forget, like, what we're really doing it for, you know, and it's just like taking a step back and resting and enjoying, and you know, whether it's like spending some time with yourself or with some mates and with some family, and be like, oh no, this is what it's about, you know. So just like resting and being grateful in that, and
more being present.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, for sure.
So number 8 dimension, I have no idea what this could be. Let's number 8.
Relational. Let's go relational. Yeah. So, yeah, like we mentioned before, like it ties in with your environment for sure, but we're social creatures as well. Sure, we're products of environment, but we've been, you know, grown up in villages and different mobs and communities, and, you know, like being surrounded by people that like that you love, I think is a really, you know, like such a valuable dimension to have. Because, I mean, especially in Australia, I think we're really lucky. We have a really good network of comradeship.
What does that mean?
So like, camaraderie, right? So like cohesiveness, like in a team, and working. Oh, Willie Wagtail, hello.
Next guest on the podcast.
Yeah. Has a lot to say apparently.
Yeah.
And but yeah, just being like camaraderie and just and mateship and just being like supportive, really supportive of each other. You know, that can go like one way or the other in Australia because we also do have tall poppy syndrome and things like that. But I feel like, you know, mate, how you going? Like you get a lot of like people that do truly care about you. I think is a, you know, super valuable because like, especially whether it is in the Western world, in Australia, like we do have, you know, increasing rates of loneliness and isolation. So it's like, who's going to be there in those tough times for you that you can lean on? You have a shoulder to lean on. So I think like that is super important. And you know, like relationships take a lot of maintenance. And it's like checking in on your mates and you know, just wanting to treat them like I treat a lot of my mates like, you know, my brothers and sisters, and for that matter, and whether you have like a partner and, you know, a significant other.
Yeah.
Like I'm not currently in a relationship, but like yeah, I don't know, like sometimes I'll aspire to in the future for sure. And I've heard like a lot of my mates are in relationships and have been able to see like the positive effects and the way that like surrounding themselves with that person has brought out a lot of aspects in themselves that they didn't know that they actually had in them, and, you know, test them in different ways and challenging them to grow as well, and like being comfortable in that too. So it's really beautiful.
Point, man. So the relational side of things, more of the relationship of that community that you have, focusing on that people to people authentic connection, more of that aspect. Yeah. So sure, like there's like the more you can align with someone and truly feel the connection. Like, you know, like, so sometimes you can have people that you meet and a face value and be like, hey, how you going? But like, I know like the deep meaningful relationships I can have, like I could sit there with my best mate Lockie and not say a word and feel totally comfortable. Yeah, right.
And just because like we are so like comfortable with each other and have that relationship and have that brotherhood, and we absolutely love each other. So I think that's like we're so aligned. Like, although we have a lot of different points, and like here's a big muso and like different points of work, and his different points and like maybe like surrounding his 9 dimensions, and he's got his strength, I've got mine. But yeah, there's something that just binds us together. I mean, like 21 years of friendship. we'll probably do that. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, you know, like we ultimately love each other, and we're like, I mean, getting quite emotional when we're moving out with him. I've been thinking about the last couple of days, like,
I do not have any tissues on me, man.
Not again. But yeah, relationships, relational dimension, super important. And meeting new people as well is, I think, an important aspect to that.
Positioning that community for that as well.
Yeah.
Last but not least, number 9.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
This
one, you haven't told me anything about this one yet, but I'm going to predict what you're going to say.
Okay, hit me.
Is spiritual dimension more of the connecting to your inner self or a bigger being? That's my little short one sentence.
It's a really good question. I personally believe it'd be the inner first and foremost anyway. Like really connecting in with yourself, and whether like, you know, there are individuals and communities that will believe in a significant other to give them that form of belief and strength in something else other than themselves. But I ultimately believe like if like I can do some of the inner work and within myself, and I can find a lot of those similar qualities, and you know, in like I've been really lucky to grow up in, you know, different cultures. You know, mum's Italian and grew up like mum and dad actually grew up very religious. Like I went to Catholic primary school and high school growing up, so I went through the whole like baptism, reconciliation, confirmation, and things like that. And like, you know, I'm grateful for those times. I think it gave me some solid values to take with me throughout that. But it's not like I've really practiced since. You know, and I've been grateful, like I've had that as a foundation to build my own kind of philosophy under. And I've done a lot of studies in philosophy as well. And I think there's like taking the religious aspect of like what is in there and like kind of and combining like with the science aspect is almost where you like can say philosophy is, and for example.
Right. Okay.
But like, yeah, and like, we can come back to that in a second. But where I was going with, like mum's culture being religious, and also dad's side of his family also being religious, but he was only found out when I was born that he was also Indigenous. So like, and not that we had a really much of a connection to our heritage like growing up, but like I naturally, like when I started playing footy for a different team down south in Bunbury, and there was a couple Indigenous Indigenous boys like I just got along with really well.
Right.
They would take me hunting, and I'd stay like with them. We'd go camping, and there was literally something inside me that felt this new kind of connection to people, but also the land. And I feel like that was where like, this like spiritual kind of really connection to something beyond myself. That's when I kind of recognized that for the first time. And, whether it's like I've been going traveling, like I remember I went up north to even Shark Bay and, Red Bluff, like a couple times. The connection to the land that I feel up there is just like, I feel at home. I don't know, there's something like a warming kind of feeling about it. I don't know if people like outside of Indigenous heritage feel that, but like, when it's, you're up there, you're with your mob, you're having a good time, and I think there's just like that true alignment with your spiritual dimension, which is just significant. It's just spectacular, and so that probably is like. I mean, I've probably taken that question a bit external, but amazing, a bit internal as well. So, and even if it is aspect of meditation and connecting in with your inner self, like I'll sit there and we'll do breath work and really connect with like that inner aspect of ourselves. So I think it's maybe it is both.
Yeah, I think it's both as well, but I think it's such an important point to consider both as well, and being open. I think like not to close off like, don't believe in that, but adventure into it and see if there's a connection there. I think that's trial and error aspect to it is very important to identify your spiritual side as well.
Yeah.
Obie, last guest I interviewed on this podcast left a question for you.
Okay.
This question is, what is one moment in your life that you're deeply proud of?
Good question. And I remember talking about it, the bit like that being proud of yourself kind of aspect. And it's probably something that a lot of us don't do that often.
Yeah. And
we should definitely do a lot more. It's definitely something that I should do a lot more. And I remember there was a time, probably within the last year, where I just finished studying. I just finished the 100 Dips and 100 Days tour, and I spoke at the Happiness Co. Gala.
Wow. And
did my divine speech in front of 1,000 people at the Optus Happiness Gala. And after that, I had a lot of people coming up to me and even my mum and dad being like, you should be so proud of yourself and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, I should be. But I don't know. It's hard, I do look back at those times and think it just took me a lot of processing. And that is a moment where I did truly feel really, really proud of myself and and how far I'd come with my studies and with my work and taking it in that direction to go where I am now. And so that and also other things as well, like maybe doing the marathon, finishing 7.5 hard. I felt pretty proud of that too.
Be pumped, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What question do you want to leave for this next guest, not knowing who they are, what business they're in, or what they stand for?
Okay. What external piece of entertainment, can be book, can be a show, has impacted you the most?
Obie, thank you so much for coming on the Growth Concept Podcast, my man.
Thank you, brother, for having me. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Obie, for taking me through the 9 dimensions of wealth. It truly made me reflect on my own journey and my life as a whole, on making sure I'm not neglecting any particular dimensions, which is a really great way of visually seeing your life. If you enjoyed this episode, I strongly encourage you to share it with someone that needs to hear it. And in return, I will do my absolute best to keep improving this show every single day, and I will not stop. Your support means the absolute world to me. Until next time, keep growing, and I look forward to seeing you on this next episode. See ya.